The wonderful thing about cheese is that it goes through an evolution, and there's something for everybody. A lovely young Gubbeen is mild and easygoing, and the older it gets, it can get quite sassy, it can get quite strong, and I think that's a matter of taste. Gubbeen, I suppose it's always been a farm. The farm is the backbone of everything. We're about a 250-acre farm. We're milking 140 cows all year round. The farm is the starting point, and what we have from that is the milk, and the milk we turn into cheese. And we have some pigs here on the farm, and that goes off to the smokehouse where we do all the cured meats. Without the farm, this wouldn't be happening. My name is Fingal Ferguson. I'm from Gubbeen in West Cork. I'm the 5th generation here on the farm where we make cheese and cured meats, and I also make knives. My mum and my dad started making cheese when I was very young. In Gubbeen, there's 2 types of cheese that we make, a smoked and a rind-washed. The rind-washed is the one you'll find with the white bloom and the mold on the outside. It's a semi-soft cheese, so it kind of has that lovely bit of texture to it, that kind of boinginess, and that earthy, nutty, mushroomy kind of element to it. The older the cheese gets, the more stronger it is. The smoked cheese itself, with the black wax on the outside, that smoked cheese is smoked for about 4 days over hardwoods. It's not perfect. It's an old traditional cheese that has a unique kind of flavor profile. You can always tell when something's been smoked in like here. But the fun thing about it is it's us. You could change it for something more perfect and squeaky clean and sort of a modern kind of process of smoking. But then we're taking away part of what makes us us.
Yes, mate.
Hey, hello.
See you guys.
Welcome.
How are you, man?
Good. Good to see you.
It's so good to be back.
Come on, let's go
Let's have a
inside.
look. My name's Lee Tiernan, and I own a restaurant called formerly known as Black Axe Mega. I liked Gubbeen before I even knew the Fergusons. I liked having it on because I was confident in its flavour, and we started having this exchange over social media. And then it started to turn into a DM conversation where we arranged to go to the farm, and from that moment on, we've all been thick as thieves. I don't know any other vendors the way I know the Fergusons.
It's perfect timing. They're making the cheese at the moment, if you want to come up.
Oh, mate, that smell. It's invigorating.
There's another worldly quality and aspect about him, I think, and that's like very attractive. It's just got a calm nature, and everything he says is, I found, completely engaging. It's such an interesting place, and they're all so woven into it and symbiotic. It's just a fascinating thing to be a part of.
Lee is a huge part of our lives. When I first kind of was getting into all of these things, the smokehouse and the knives and everything like that, he was one of the guys I would go to actually get feedback on these things. We're milking a herd, and in the morning, that milk comes through, we pasteurize our cheese, and it goes into the vats, and it hits around body temperature. And what we do is we introduce starters and rennet.
The rennet is the coagulant. It's what's going to help the milk turn into curds and whey.
Lee, one of the wonderful things to do is to actually just try the curd at this stage. Oh, come on, Heather. There's a point when the curd has just got that perfect texture.
Boingy.
Yeah, the boinginess. Fuck. That's the nice part of it. But there is this perfect point when the curd is ready, where literally there's this magic window, and that's when all the curd needs to be kind of scooped up and go into the cheese molds. It starts with the milk, but what happens is that the little things along the way are really important, like the brine. The brines that we have here have been going for 40 years.
We keep topping up the salt as it's needed, but there's also enzyme activity and bacteria that are playing a big role in that, and that's why we never want to throw it away. It's quite important to it.
When you unwrap a Gubbeen, you have this signature waffle effect on the cheese. And
Grill lines, barbecue.
It's just perfect. It's sort of just visually as well, it sort of sets you up. It triggers that memory.
So the wax is sort of a form, just like the cheese rinds, of slowing down and stopping the cheese from drying out. And it's actually a slow manual process. We use the brushes you can see over here. We dip into the wax, we paint one side, we let it dry, we flip it over, we paint the other side, and it's about 6 coats.
We do the same things, but it's never the same.
We like a bit of everything. The variety is good.
I mean, we still to this day find little things. If you get cocky, if you feel at any moment you know everything about
cheese.
You will have your
It'll
ass
misbehave,
handed to
right?
you.
Yeah.
You have to literally be humble and at all points know that it's a lifetime of a learning curve.
I love that there's a fax number on this.
No, the fax hasn't worked for 10 years. When I was young, we started to build the first smoker here, helping my dad, passing him the blocks and being part of that. I felt a strong connection to it. And having pigs here on the farm, we would make a bit of sausage, make a bit of ham, a bit of bacon. What we'd find is that you kind of get into sausages. And then growing up with the cheese, salami is that same kind of world, that fermentation. Well, where we are now, like this is the curing rooms where we're kind of aging the salami. So really we're just controlling the temperature and the humidity in here. You're adding a lactic culture to the salami, to the meat in the very beginning.
That gives it that tang, right?
It will. And what will happen is when you hang them in the smoker next door, we actually use it like an incubator. We kind of add a heater that we kind of have this calibrated heater that will bring the room up to about 28 degrees, up to that kind of body temperature, if not hotter. And from there, everything starts to kick off.
Does the smoke add an element of control?
Yeah. I mean, basically, the smoker is kind of encasing. The flavor is one of the elements, but really, it's acidity on the surface. So the airborne bacteria, like, come on, we're so close to the dairy. These things are in the air. If they land on the salami, they don't want to grow because it's like sort of landing on the moon.
You just keep taking from the lower
Okay.
bit. Everything's edible.
Whenever I go to Ireland, I feel like I'm going home. But when I get to Gubbeen especially, I feel like very close to home.
I'm gonna put it in just like that, and then I'm gonna add the cheese in a sec. Oh, this is perfect. I'm just cutting it nice and thin so it will melt quickly.
When I was younger, I'd traveled to New Zealand to work on the farms down there. And I'd made a knife down there at one point on one of the adventures. And I suddenly realized this is one of those fun things. I kind of just got the bug.
The rind is the best bit. And there we go. That oven is hot.
It's hot.
I've lost, look at the hairs on my arm, they're gone. Look at that gooey cheese, look at that. It's pretty incredible.
Grab a bit of everything. We have the cheeses, the salamis, we have something with some bacon.
That can go straight in.
They invest a lot of time, effort and care into what they do, and that is very evident in the final product.
Nick, a couple of smokies.
Do. Grab those.
Nice. I think we're good.
Oh, wow. People get nostalgic when they smell onions. I get nostalgic when I smell this. As soon as you smell it, you just get transported back to that dairy and that area, you know, I'd been using it on the menu at my previous job at St. John. I started cutting the rind off and infusing it into cream, just for me, really. And then I started putting it on potatoes. It was that good that we could put it on the menu. Adding that Gubbeen cream and making that the thing that pulls all these other good ingredients together, that's the aim of this dish. I had a real nostalgic craving for it, having visited the farm. When you're working with a top quality ingredient, you don't have to do that much to it.
I mean, if it was easy, everybody would do it. And I think there's nothing easy about cheese making. There's nothing easy about being an artisan producer, about being a small producer in any kind of way. So you need your friends at all times. And I think that's something that I've always felt blessed by, about growing up in this part of the world. And even now in the bigger world. So yeah, community is a huge part.